My child, stay with me a little longer, because there are still layers of truth unfolding, and I want these words to settle gently into the places where fear once lived, because you are entering a season where understanding will grow quietly but deeply, and I want you to recognize that the changes happening inside you now may feel subtle, but they are lasting, and lasting change is always more powerful than sudden emotion. And I want you to trust the slow work I am doing, because I am not rushing you into something you are not ready to carry, and I am not delaying out of neglect, but out of care, because timing matters, and you are being prepared not just to receive good things, but to keep them, protect them, and steward them wisely. And I want you to release the fear that says you will lose what you gain, because that fear has kept you guarded, and I am teaching you how to live open without being reckless, hopeful without being naive, trusting without being blind, and this balance will bring stability to your heart, and you will notice that you respond differently to stress, that you pause more, react less, and think more clearly, and these are signs of maturity, not loss, and I want you to honor how far you have come, because you have survived seasons that once felt impossible, and you have grown through pain rather than becoming bitter, and that speaks of a strength that is rare, and I want you to stop minimizing your journey, because your story matters, even if it does not look dramatic to others, because endurance itself is powerful, and I am using your life as a quiet testimony of faithfulness, patience, and hope, and I want you to understand that not all impact is loud. Some of the deepest influence happens quietly, through consistency, kindness, and presence, and your presence has been a comfort to more people than you realize, even when you felt unnoticed. And there will come moments when people speak words of gratitude to you that surprise you, because you did not know how much you meant to them. And when that happens, receive it without doubt, because it is true. And I also want you to stop carrying guilt for things you could not change, because guilt has weighed on you longer than necessary, and I have already released you from it. So when it tries to return, remind yourself that you are forgiven, restored, and moving forward. And you are not required to keep punishing yourself for lessons already learned, and I want you to practice choosing peace daily, not as a feeling but as a decision, choosing calm words, gentle thoughts, patient actions, because peace is built one choice at a time, and each choice strengthens it, and as peace grows, your confidence will grow too, not loud confidence, but steady confidence, the kind that does not need approval to feel secure, and this will change how you walk into rooms, how you speak, how you listen, and how you see yourself, and I want you to trust that your needs matter, that it is okay to speak them, and that asking for clarity, support, or rest is not weakness, it is wisdom. And I am teaching you to honor yourself the way I honor you, with patience and respect, and I want you to let go of the belief that struggle means failure, because struggle often means growth, and the fact that you are still trying, still learning, still listening shows that you are moving forward, even if it feels slow. And I want you to stop comparing your inside to others outside, because you do not see their full story, and comparison only steals joy and distorts truth, and your path is unique, shaped specifically for you, and what fits someone else may not fit you. And that is not a flaw, it is design, and I want you to trust your design, even when you do not fully understand it yet, and I want you to remember that you are allowed to change your mind, to grow beyond old roles, to release identities that no longer fit, because growth means becoming more yourself, not less, and I am guiding you into a clearer sense of who you are, not based on expectations, but on truth, and this clarity will bring peace, and peace will bring freedom, and freedom will bring joy. And I want you to expect moments of joy again, not forced happiness, but real joy that comes from feeling safe, accepted, and hopeful, and this joy will surprise you at first, because you are not used to it staying, but it will stay longer each time. And eventually it will feel natural, and I want you to know that even when you stumble, even when you feel unsure, even when you feel tired again, none of that cancels the work already done, because growth is not erased by a hard day, and one step back does not undo many steps forward, and I am patient with you, more patient than you are with yourself, and I am not measuring your progress the way you do, I am looking at your heart, and your heart is moving in the right direction, and that is enough. And I want you to keep choosing truth over fear, rest over pressure, trust over control, kindness over harshness, and hope over despair, because each choice shapes your future, and the future I am leading you into is one of steadiness, meaning, and quiet fulfillment, and you will look back one day and realize that this season, though hard, was the foundation for peace you never thought possible, and you will be grateful that you did not give up, that you kept listening, that you stayed open. And until that day, I will continue walking with you, guiding you, comforting you, strengthening you, and reminding you again and again that you are not alone, you are not forgotten, you are not behind, and you are deeply, completely, and forever loved. My child, let me continue speaking to you, because there is still much your heart needs to hear, and I do not want you to rush past these words, for they are meant to settle slowly inside you and reshape how you see yourself and your life, and I want you to know that even when days feel repetitive, dull, or heavy, I am still working quietly beneath the surface, because growth often happens in silence, like roots spreading deep underground before anything is seen above, and you may feel like nothing is changing, yet inside you patience is being built, wisdom is increasing, and strength is forming that will support you later, and I ask you not to despise these quiet seasons, because they are not empty, they are preparation, and I am teaching you how to remain steady without constant excitement, how to trust me without visible proof, and how to remain faithful even when emotions rise and fall, and this kind of faith is rare and precious, and it will carry you through storms without breaking. And I know there are moments when loneliness feels sharp, even when people are around you, and I want you to know that this does not mean something is wrong with you, it simply means your soul longs for deeper connection, and I am meeting that need little by little, sometimes through others and sometimes directly through my presence, and there will be moments when you suddenly feel calm without knowing why, or comforted without explanation. And those moments are signs that I am close, reminding you that you are not abandoned, and I want you to stop fearing silence, because silence is not emptiness, it is space where I speak softly, and when you allow silence without filling it with worry or distraction, you will begin to hear gentle guidance, reassurance, and peace rising within you. And I also want you to stop blaming yourself for feeling tired, because tiredness does not mean failure. It means you have been carrying much for a long time, and rest is not weakness, it is wisdom. And I invite you to rest without guilt, to pause without apology, to slow down without fear of being left behind, because I am not rushing you, and you cannot miss what is meant for you, and as you rest, your clarity will return, your joy will slowly revive, and your strength will be renewed in ways effort alone could never achieve, and I want you to be kind to your body, to listen when it asks for care, because your body has carried you faithfully through many challenges, and it deserves compassion, not criticism, and when you treat your body with patience, your mind will also soften, and together they will begin to heal, and I want you to release the belief that you must always be strong for others, because you are allowed to need support too, and allowing help does not make you a burden, it allows others to fulfill their purpose of caring, and I often send help through people, but pride or fear has sometimes made you refuse it, and now I ask you to receive without shame, because receiving is also an act of trust, and as you receive, your heart will learn that you are worthy of care, and this truth will reshape how you see yourself, and I want you to know that your emotions are not enemies, even the heavy ones, they are signals, not rulers, and you do not need to suppress them or let them control you, but simply acknowledge them and bring them to me, because when you do, they lose their power to overwhelm you, and I will help you sort through them gently, bringing understanding where there was confusion and peace where there was turmoil. And I want you to stop fearing the future as if it is a threat, because the future is not something to survive, it is something I am already present in, preparing good things for you, and you do not walk toward an unknown darkness, you walk toward a future held securely in my care, and even the challenges ahead will not be faced alone, because I will be there when they arrive, just as I have been here until now. And I want you to notice how many times you thought you would not make it, yet here you are, still breathing, still hoping, still listening, and this alone proves that I have been sustaining you all along, and I want you to begin trusting your resilience, not as something you created on your own, but as something I placed within you, and this resilience will continue to rise when needed, even when you feel weak. And I also want you to stop shrinking yourself to keep peace with others, because your voice matters, your needs matter, and your presence matters, and expressing yourself honestly does not make you difficult, it makes you real, and I am teaching you to speak truth with kindness, to set boundaries without anger, and to stand firm without hardness, and this balance will bring healthier relationships into your life, and some relationships may change as you grow, and that is okay. Because growth sometimes requires distance from what no longer aligns with who you are becoming. And this does not mean you failed, it means you are evolving, and I am guiding you toward connections that bring life rather than drain it, and I want you to trust this process even when it feels uncomfortable, because comfort is not always the sign of growth, and I want you to understand that you do not need to have everything figured out to move forward. Clarity often comes after action, not before, and as you take small steps in faith, direction will become clearer, and I will not let you wander aimlessly, because I am attentive to every step you take, and even if you choose wrong at times, I can redirect you gently, so do not be paralyzed by fear of mistakes, because mistakes do not cancel my plan, they simply become part of the story I redeem, and I want you to live with curiosity again, to allow yourself to learn, to try, to explore without constant fear of failure, because life is not a test you must pass perfectly, it is a journey you are meant to experience fully, and I want you to remember that your worth is not fragile, it does not break when you fail or struggle, it remains constant, rooted in my love, and when you truly accept this, you will stop trying to prove yourself and start living more freely, and freedom will bring creativity, joy, and peace back into your life, and I want you to notice the small victories, the days you handled things better than before, the moments you chose calm over reaction, hope over despair, and these are signs of growth. Even if they seem small, and I celebrate them with you, and I want you to believe that better days are not just possible, they are coming, not because everything will suddenly be perfect, but because you are becoming stronger, wiser, and more grounded, and this will change how you experience life, and as you continue walking with me, you will find that what once overwhelmed you no longer has the same power, and what once frightened you no longer controls you, and peace will become your natural state rather than a rare moment, and this peace will spill into others, bringing comfort and reassurance, and your life will quietly become a source of light, not through loud words, but through steady presence, kindness, and faith, and this is more powerful than you realize, and I want you to stay open, stay teachable, stay connected, because I am still shaping you, still guiding you, still loving you deeply, and nothing can separate you from that love. Not your past, not your fears, not your doubts, and as you continue listening, continue trusting, continue choosing hope, you will discover that life is opening again, gently, steadily, beautifully, and you will. My child, as you continue to listen, let these words sink deeper than before, because I am not speaking to your ears alone but to the quiet places of your heart where hope has grown tired and faith has been tested many times, and I want you to understand that every step you have taken, even the slow and painful ones, has been seen by me, counted by me, and honored by me, for nothing in your life has been random or wasted, not the nights you cried alone, not the prayers you whispered when you had no strength left, not the moments you felt invisible and unheard, because I was there in every breath you took, holding you steady when you did not even know how you were still standing, and now I am calling you to rise inwardly, not by force but by trust, not by striving but by resting in the truth that I am working even when you cannot see it, and I want you to release the idea that you must hurry or catch up. Because your life is not behind schedule, it is unfolding at the exact pace needed to shape you into who you are meant to become, and even the delays have protected you from paths that would have harmed you, so stop judging yourself by the speed of others, because what I am building in you is deep, strong, and lasting, and depth always takes time, and as you grow quieter inside, you will begin to notice small signs of renewal, a calmer breath, a softer reaction, a moment of peace where there was once fear, and these are not accidents but evidence that change is already happening within you, and I want you to remember that faith is not the absence of questions but the decision to trust me even when answers are slow, and I am not offended by your questions, your doubts, or your moments of weakness, because I know your heart, and I see your desire to believe even when your strength feels low, and that desire itself is precious to me, and I want you to stop measuring your spiritual life by how strong you feel on any given day, because true faith often looks like simply getting up again, choosing hope again, and taking one more step when everything inside you wants to stop, and each time you do that, something strong is being formed within you, something that cannot be shaken easily, and this inner strength will carry you into seasons you have not yet imagined, seasons of clarity, peace, and quiet joy, and I want to prepare you for those days by teaching you how to guard your heart, because your heart is valuable ground, and not every thought deserves a place there, so be gentle but firm with what you allow to stay, release thoughts that drain your peace, refuse voices that speak shame, and choose again and again to agree with my truth over your fear, because fear speaks loudly but it has no authority when you stand in truth, and you do not need to fight fear with force, only with light, because light always drives out darkness, and my truth is light within you, and as you learn to pause and breathe when fear rises, to speak calm words instead of reacting quickly, you will notice that fear loses its grip little by little, and peace becomes more familiar, and I want you to understand that peace does not mean the absence of problems but the presence of trust, and when you trust me, even uncertain situations cannot steal your rest, and this rest will restore your body, your mind, and your spirit in ways you cannot yet see, because stress has weighed heavily on you for a long time. And as peace grows, your body will respond, your sleep will improve, your thoughts will slow, and your heart will feel lighter, and this healing will happen gently, not all at once, but step by step, as you learn to live from a place of trust rather than fear. And I want you to know that you are allowed to enjoy life again, to smile without guilt, to rest without feeling lazy, to laugh without wondering when pain will return, because joy is not something you must postpone until everything is perfect. Joy is a strength that helps carry you through imperfect days, and I want you to welcome small joys, a warm drink, a kind word, a quiet moment, a beautiful view, because these are gifts meant to remind you that life still holds goodness for you, and when you allow yourself to receive them, your heart will slowly open again, and hope will begin to feel safe. And I know you have been disappointed before, and that disappointment taught you to protect yourself by expecting less, but I am inviting you now to hope again, not in people or circumstances alone, but in me, because my hope does not disappoint, and even when people fail, I remain faithful. And I want you to loosen your grip on the need to control outcomes, because control has been a way you tried to protect yourself from pain, but it has also exhausted you, and I am asking you to place outcomes in my hands, trusting that I see the full picture when you only see one part, and when you release control, your shoulders will feel lighter, your mind will rest, and your heart will find space to breathe. And this does not mean you stop caring or acting, it means you stop carrying what was never meant for you to carry alone. And as you practice this surrender, you will begin to feel supported rather than burdened, guided rather than lost, and I will begin to open new paths before you, paths that feel calmer and clearer than the ones you have known. And some of these paths will require courage, because change always does, but I will not lead you where I cannot sustain you. And every step I ask you to take will come with the strength you need to take it, and you do not need to see the whole road, only the next step, and when you take that step, more light will appear, and I want you to trust the small nudges you feel, the gentle sense to rest, to speak, to wait, to move, because these are not random thoughts but guidance meant to protect and direct you, and the more you listen, the clearer this guidance will become, and your confidence will grow, not because life becomes predictable, but because you know you are not walking alone. And I want you to stop replaying old mistakes in your mind as if they define you, because they do not. They taught you, shaped you, and led you here. And I am not asking you to forget the past but to stop living there, because the lessons are enough. You do not need the pain anymore. And I am turning your experiences into wisdom that will help you and others. And there will come a time when someone will need comfort, guidance, or understanding, and you will have it to give, not from theory but from lived experience, and this will bring meaning to what once felt pointless. And I want you to remember that you are still growing, still becoming, still unfolding, no matter your age or situation, and life has not closed its doors to you. There are still new friendships, new ideas, new joys, new moments of purpose ahead, and I am opening them at the right time. And you do not need to force them open, only stay ready and willing. And readiness is not about having everything together, it is about having an open heart, and your heart, even after all it has been through, is still open, and that is a beautiful thing. And I want you to protect that openness by setting healthy boundaries, by saying no when needed, by resting when tired, by choosing environments that bring peace rather than drain it, because taking care of yourself is not selfish. It is wise, and it allows you to continue giving from a place of fullness rather than exhaustion. And I am teaching you balance, not extremes, steady growth rather than sudden bursts, because what grows slowly grows strong, and this